cycles of life. I wanted to talk about something which really interests me of late. It's the pattern of the way people's lives are. I know that might seem a little vague at first. Hang with me for a second here. So what I mean by that is, some of you know how old I am, and some of you don't. Regardless of that fact, the age that I am, it has taken me this long in life to realize a very fundamental thing about myself. And this is why I wanted to do a whole video, because I think it's really crazy and wild and kind of funny that I'm only just now discovering this. However, I also find it fascinating. So I thought, let me share it in the hopes that, or in the intention that you in your own self-exploration discover these awesome things about yourself so that you get to know yourself better. Because the person you really want to get to know the best, honestly, in the world is yourself. And then perhaps after that, your partner, and then the rest of the world, whatever, right? So what I discovered, it took me my life up until now to realize this. What I came to realize about myself in life is that one of my, perhaps you could call it a pattern, one of my rhythms is, and it made me laugh so hard because part of the story, when I was in high school, I used to watch the girls running track, or the people running track. I don't remember, honestly, if it was co-ed or not, team, whatever. I used to watch the track runners every once in a while when they would run track. And I would think to myself, man, I wish I could run track. I wish not only that I could physically run the track, but also, and not be like, I gotcha. Not just that. Also, I knew what the experience of running feels really good. I do like to run. Man, I don't know. I was never a distance runner. So fast forward. My life revelation about myself that only recently came in was that in life, I'm more of a sprinter than a distance runner, which struck me as extremely comical given what I just said. Because most of my life, I was a procrastinator. And what's funny about it is that that's just a system of putting off and putting off and putting off things, and then like taking a huge sprint. And what's funny to me about that, I don't know, it may not strike anyone else as comedic. It is to me, though, in my development, because here I am in my head being like, oh, I wish I could run track. I wish I could do things like that and run, and it would just feel like running on water, and it would be this easy, fun thing for me. And here I am, and the actual rhythm, the rhythm of my life, in other words, the way that even seasons, like let's say spring, we'll use the seasons that we have here in New England. We have the 4 seasons. So we have a springtime, a summer, a fall, and a winter. And similarly to that, what I've learned about myself is that I'm a sprinter and not a distance runner. So while most of my life I was trying to like do this continuous marathon, triathlon, I don't even know, dodecahedrathlon, trying to run some really long, extended, continuous race. The humorous but unfortunate part is that had I realized that sooner, that that's a rhythm that sort of works for me, weird as that is, it works for me to get work done, for example, in chunks like that, do a very concentrated chunk of work and then have a bunch of freedom, and then a concentrated chunk of work and a bunch of freedom, to me is like being a sprinter. So it made me laugh pretty heartily because I realized that, well, I may not be a physical sprinter, but when it comes to the rhythm of my life, things tend to be that way. There are like these extended lulls, and I want to add that I'm working on this because I'm not actually the hugest fan of these humongous lulls necessarily. That being said, I'm inviting myself to enjoy more pleasure and to enjoy the freedom of the fact that what we're here on earth to do is actually just be happy. And that's a simple fact that many of us forget or allow ourselves to be pushed to the back of our minds and be like, it can't be that simple. And it is. Our purpose is to be happy. So if you are happy, you are living your purpose. And it gets so easily lost in just the muck of the world. So I wanted to share to explore yourself and to find out what your own personal rhythms are, to get to know yourself. Because my point in all of that is that, and where this has value for you, is that if, for example, you discover you're like me, you may realize that there was a purpose to your procrastination in a way, because what you were doing was creating, mind you, procrastination is a non-functional way of doing this. However, what it does is sort of the same effect. It creates that lengthy space and then forces you to have to create your thing in this like short period of time. So you have to create inside of this pressurized bubble. And then, the procrastination forces you allows you to take the time again. And then boom, you have, say, a test and you have to cram and study for it in that tiny little period of time. So again, like a sprinter, I don't know, you run, and then you have to run really, really fast for like 30 seconds or something like that. Mind you, I'm going to add just to this that I'm not a sprinter, so I don't actually know what this takes. In my brain, that's how it goes, because most of my life I'm going along and then suddenly it's like, and then running along and then, so there's some line from a movie and can't remember it right now, but something about how, it's extended periods of calm punctuated by like absolute terror and fear. It's not that bad. And it is very funny and true about my life. So I've realized that as it turns out, yours truly is a sprinter and not a long distance runner in the game of life. And I invite you to explore what kind of a exerciser of the game of life are you, or what is your rhythm in life? What actually feels good to yourself to do, to have as a work, pleasure, life, whatever balance, to explore that for yourself. So if you know anyone who this would help, please do share the video with them. Subscribe, as that really helps me as a content creator to get these messages out there to the folks who need to hear them. And last but not least, and as always, if you need any support or health coaching, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at this email address, where it would be my pleasure to serve you in whatever way I can. Have a beautiful and a blessed rest of your day or night whenever you're seeing this, and I will see you, beautiful cats, in the next video. Namaste and much love. Bye. Cycles of life, but why do I always do that? So, like, I know that might seem a little vague at first. Hang with me for a second here. Most of my life, I was a procrastinator. And what's funny about it is that that's just a system of putting off and putting off and putting off things. And then like taking a huge sprint, because most of my life I'm going along and then suddenly it's like, and then running along and then, what we're here on earth to do is actually just be happy. Continuous marathon, triathlon, I don't even know, dodecahedrathlon. I gotcha. The person you really want to get to know the best, honestly, in the world is yourself.